I let my cat choose my new pet. What happened next shocked us, and I'm still not sure if I made the right choice. Stay with me, because this story has a twist you will not see coming. Let me start from the beginning. I have a cat named Leo. He is a 2-year-old tabby with orange stripes and a very strong personality. Leo is not just a pet. He is the ruler of my apartment. He decides when I wake up. He decides when I eat. He even decides when I am allowed to work. If Leo wants attention, he sits on my keyboard. He does not move. He just stares at me with those big yellow eyes. And I give in every single time. I am not ashamed to admit it. Leo owns me. For 2 years, it was just me and Leo. We had a good routine. I would wake up, feed him, and then he would ignore me for the rest of the day. That was our relationship. It was simple. It was comfortable. But then, something changed. I started to feel lonely. I live in a small apartment in the city. My friends are busy with their lives, and the silence in my home started to feel heavy. I thought about getting another pet. I thought it would be nice to have someone else to talk to, someone who would actually be excited to see me when I came home. Leo just looks at me like I interrupted his nap. So, I started researching. I looked at dogs. I looked at rabbits. I even looked at birds. But every time I thought about bringing a new animal home, I felt a knot in my stomach. What if Leo hated the new pet? What if he got jealous? I read horror stories online about cats attacking new animals. I saw videos of cats ignoring their owners for weeks after a new pet arrived. I did not want to ruin the peace we had. But I also did not want to be lonely anymore. It was a real problem. So, I came up with a crazy idea, a dangerous idea. I decided to let Leo choose. Yes, you heard that right. I let my cat pick the new pet. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I had a theory. I thought, if Leo chooses the new animal, maybe he will accept it. Maybe he will be more open to sharing his space. I had no evidence for this. I am not a pet psychologist, but I was desperate. So, I made a plan. I went to the local animal shelter. I told the staff about my experiment. They looked at me like I was crazy. One of them even laughed. But they agreed to help. They brought out different animals for Leo to meet. I video called Leo from my phone. I know it sounds insane, but I wanted to see his reaction. The first animal they brought out was a small dog, a fluffy white puppy with floppy ears. The dog was so cute. I thought Leo might like him. But when I showed Leo the puppy on the screen, he did something strange. He turned his head away. He started cleaning his paw. It was a clear sign of disrespect. Leo was not interested. He looked bored. He looked offended. I crossed the puppy off the list. It was not going to work. The next animal was a rabbit, a brown, lop-eared rabbit with big eyes. The rabbit was gentle and quiet. I thought this might be a good match. But when Leo saw the rabbit, he hissed. Leo hissed at the phone. He puffed up his tail. He looked ready to fight. I almost dropped my phone. I had never seen Leo react that way to any animal. It was a strong reaction, but it was not a good one. I knew right then that Leo and that rabbit would never be friends. It would be a disaster. So, I said no to the rabbit. Then, they brought out a bird, a bright blue parakeet. The bird was chirping and hopping around its cage. I thought, a bird is small. It stays in its cage. It is harmless. But when Leo saw the bird, he got very still. His eyes went wide. His pupils dilated. It was the look of a hunter. Leo was not interested in the bird as a friend. He was interested in the bird as a snack. I quickly told the shelter to take the bird away. I was not going to turn my cat into a murderer. At this point, I was getting discouraged. I had been at the shelter for over an hour. Leo had rejected every single animal. I started to think I would be alone forever. I started to think that Leo was just a grumpy cat who hated everyone. I was about to give up. I was about to tell the staff thank you and go home. I felt defeated. But then, a worker asked me a question. She said, "Have you tried a kitten?" I thought about it. A kitten is young. A kitten is playful. A kitten might be a good companion for Leo. I agreed to try it. They brought out a tiny black kitten. The kitten was so small, it fit in one hand. It had bright green eyes and a little pink nose. It was trembling slightly. It looked scared. I looked at my phone screen. I showed the kitten to Leo. And then, something incredible happened. Leo leaned toward the phone. He sniffed the screen. He did not hiss. He did not puff up. He just looked. He looked at that tiny black kitten with a strange softness in his eyes. He blinked slowly. For those of you who know cats, a slow blink is like a kiss. It is a sign of trust. It is a sign of love. Leo blinked at that kitten. I could not believe my eyes. My grumpy, judgmental cat actually approved. He liked the kitten. He chose him. I was shocked. I was also a little bit jealous. Leo never looked at me with that much affection, but I was also so happy. I adopted the kitten on the spot. I named him Oliver. I brought him home that same day. I was nervous about the introduction. I was scared that Leo would change his mind. I held Oliver in my arms. I walked into the apartment. Leo was sitting on the couch. He looked at Oliver. He looked at me. And then he did something I did not expect. Leo stood up. He walked over to me. He sniffed Oliver gently. And then he started to groom the kitten. Leo licked Oliver's head. He cleaned his tiny ears. He acted like a mother cat. It was the sweetest thing I have ever seen. I almost cried. I did cry, actually. I was so relieved. My plan worked. Leo was happy. Oliver was happy. I was happy. It was a perfect little family. But wait, that is not the end of the story. That is just the beginning of the real surprise. Because over the next few weeks, something very strange started to happen. Leo started to change. He became more social. He started to sleep on my bed. He started to follow me around the apartment. It was like Oliver's presence awakened something in him. Leo became a different cat. He was friendlier. He was more affectionate. He even started to play with me. And Oliver was just as amazing. He followed Leo everywhere. He copied everything Leo did. If Leo sat on the windowsill, Oliver sat right next to him. If Leo meowed for food, Oliver meowed too. They were inseparable. They were best friends. I honestly felt like I was a third wheel in my own home. They had their own little club, and I was not invited. But the biggest surprise came one night. I was sitting on the couch, watching TV. It was late. The lights were dim. Leo was sleeping on my lap. Oliver was sleeping on my chest. It was a perfect moment. And then I heard a noise outside. It was a scratching sound at the door. I froze. My heart started to beat fast. I live on the second floor. There should not be any scratching at the door. Leo woke up immediately. His ears went up. He stared at the door. Oliver did the same. They both jumped down from my lap. They walked to the door together. They stood side by side. And then they both started to growl. I have never heard Leo growl before. It was a deep, scary sound. I was terrified. I did not know what to do. I grabbed my phone. I was ready to call the police. But then the scratching stopped. I heard footsteps running away. Whatever was out there, it was gone. I stayed up all night. I was too scared to sleep. I kept looking at Leo and Oliver. They were calm now. They were curled up together on the rug. They looked so peaceful. I realized something important. That night, my two cats protected me. They worked together. They were not just pets. They were a team. They were a family. Leo chose Oliver. But it was not just a choice. It was a gift. Leo gave me a new friend. But he also gave himself a friend. He gave himself a purpose. He stopped being grumpy. He stopped being distant. He became a protector. He became a brother. So, what is the lesson here? I think it is simple. Sometimes we think we know what we need, but we do not. I thought I needed another pet to cure my loneliness. But what I really needed was to see Leo happy. I needed to see him connect with someone else. Leo was lonely too. I just did not see it. Cats are experts at hiding their feelings. They hide their loneliness behind a mask of indifference. But deep down, they feel everything. They need love. They need connection. Just like us. If you are thinking about getting a new pet, do not be scared. Do not overthink it. Sometimes, the best decisions are the crazy ones. The decisions that make no sense to anyone else. Trust your pet. Trust the process. You might be shocked by what happens. Now, I have Leo and Oliver. They are my little family. My apartment is no longer quiet. There is pouncing, playing, and even the occasional fight over a toy. But it is full of life. It is full of love. I would not change it for anything. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you want to see more videos about Leo and Oliver, subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. I want to hear from you too. Tell me in the comments, have you ever let your pet make a big decision? Have you ever been surprised by your pet's behavior? I want to read your stories. I want to know that I am not the only one who lets my cat run my life. Thank you for watching. Take care of your furry friends. And remember, sometimes the best things in life are chosen by a cat.